So I'm going to say something about putting my hands on Alicia, and that is, Walter Carrington used to be very keen on saying, don't want to put your hands on somebody with the immediate intention of doing something to them. And that's a tricky area in the Alexander War, because sometimes people will say, well, take a look at her and see what's happening there, and then decide, where you need to make an intervention, and come along and, okay, let's get that head going more forward now. But the way I learned from Walter was, I come along and I put my hands on, and I direct myself in order to really open up as much as I can. Internal expansion, lengthening and widening, in such a way that that continues out through my legs to my feet on the ground, and out through my arms to my hands. Let me show you, while we're talking, I'm just going to sit you down. And that allows my hands to become more open, more sensitive, more like, I've said to people yesterday about think of your legs as open channels to the ground. If I think of my arms as open channels of communication, so that I start to get information from Alicia coming back to me through my hands. Because I don't have this agenda. I'm open to, I'm getting some information. Now, if you said to me, what is the information? I was saying to somebody yesterday, 20 or 30 years ago, I could probably have rattled off a list of, I noticed this in her neck muscles, and this in her shoulders, and the right shoulder a bit more than the left, and such in the lower back, and pulling the left hip, etc., etc. I find it harder and harder to say anything like that now. I just get an overall sense, and I do think from that overall sense, Alicia, there we are. You could just let the whole column of your neck, that's right, come up a little more like that. You can feel that, can't you? And with that, we could get a little more here. Just let those ribs move to breathe. That's right, yes. And keep that going on up there. So, what I'm doing here, say at Alicia's neck, is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Alicia. Alicia. Okay, with an A. All right. So what I'm interested in, that's right, up here, is not trying to take her head forward and up. That's it, but trying to help her undo the muscle pulls that are preventing her head from going as forward and up as it could do. Do you follow what I'm saying there, Alicia? And I'm noticing here that, she could open out more here. That's it. She could allow more widening and more freeing of her thought. That's it, of her ribs to move. So it's really, Walter used to say to me, I'm not so much doing something to the person, I'm really helping them to stop doing things to themselves that are unconstructive. And I find that in that way, we can have more of a cooperation between us. And, with a bit of luck, you might feel that it's kind of a joint process that you are really participating in. Would that be possible, do you think? She's nodding, but not speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Now, put your feet a little wider apart for me. They used to say in London that you could always, all this Carrington and MacDonald stuff, oh yeah, MacDonald, Carrington. But, the truth is often somewhere in between, so we'll have a nice little in-between thing there. And what were we doing this for? Are we doing this to show something about coming up out of the chair and the legs? Maybe just go into monkey form first. That's it. Now, once again, actually go a little further. So, there's room for a little improvement there, isn't there? Yeah. So I wonder how we can get that improvement. I think we might get it if I want you to, first of all, don't do that when I give you the next instruction. In fact, when I give you the next instruction, don't move externally, but we'd like to have a movement, like a muscular tendency to go that way, but a tendency in the muscles. That's it, that's right, yes. And this area, that's it, now you have a lower back. Can you feel that yourself?
Yes.
That is very, very nice. Now, in order to maintain it, you've got to unfold upwards. Don't push with your legs. Head leading, head leading. That's it, beautiful, well done. She maintained that beautifully. Keep letting your ribs move. That's it, the whole neck releasing up. Now, the chair's behind you, I promise you. Are we insured?
Yes.
Into the chair.
This isn't American. And we haven't.
And again, I'm coming back to this because, yeah, like that. That's it. Now you've just got to keep asking for this to happen, you see. And this is how you'll get widening and freeing of your ribs for breathing. And it's one of the links with hands on back of chair is that FM said it served, that's right, two purposes. Teaching you about appropriate tone in the use of your hands and arms. He called it due and undue tension in the use of, that's right, the hands and arms. And he said it freed the thorax for breathing. It does that because if you really get away from pulling your arms and shoulders into your trunk, you really can free your thorax. So it seems like he did this thing of, when taking people out of the chair, of asking them to come back a little bit, which seems a little crazy because what direction does she have to go in space to end up over her feet? Well, that way. What the heck is the point of going that way? Well, if we think of it a little differently, we're simply going to apply a maneuver. You see, oh, I should have added that just like in monkey, it's often easier to get that better organization of the neck, back, and legs. That's right. It's also easier to get it while the person's sitting and the legs are folded up. Raymond Dodd actually wrote, balanced upright sitting precedes balanced upright standing. That's true both in the evolution of human species, and it's true in how you grow from being a baby to an adult. That's right, Alicia. So you just let yourself come back a bit and unfold. Nice, nice. Now you unfold it pretty well, but we lost a little bit. So release down. That's it. Release to your heels. Let your back widen. Very, very good. Yes, yes. So we'll go into the chair again. And if I were FM, I'd just put a hand on there and a hand on there, and I'd get her to come back a bit, and we do that. But I'm not at that. Elizabeth Walker said to me once, she said, you know, when you see that little bit of film of him working, doing that, he was 80 or so. She said, you know, he could take almost anybody and get that working in about 30 seconds. But let's not pretend that we can. So you can't just rush in and think that you can emulate that. And that includes, you can't just rush in and think that you can emulate the trajectory of movement that he was getting with people, you see. You know, if I made it a point of honor that I have to move her out of the chair like that, dare we say end game?
Mm.
So, you know, we'll just get things as well organized as we can. Let's have that. That's right. Good. And you're releasing out through your knees and you're coming back and up into the trunk here. Back and up is a wonderful phrase. Do you, oh, no, we'll leave it at that. It's going to go off on a tangent there. But. And Alicia, again, you come back a little bit more, head forward, knees forward. Nice, yes. And we came up, again, we lost a little bit, but not much. So I think that's what you're, do you get the picture? You know, it's, if you don't think about, I'm teaching Alicia how to sit down and stand up the correct Alexander way. You might deal with that in the first 2 or 3 lessons. But beyond that, you're continually refining the organization of full uprightness, integrating postural support, breathing, and movement, because as we get this, she breathes better. Okay? You're done. Right.